Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Woohoo! And for the person who loves the chicken intro for the broiler chickens, bark, 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 bark. Can't get up that high. I guess this is an old rooster. Mind you, the roosters, they still, in their old age, they still crow at sunrise, don't they? Welcome back to the Frivolity. Of course, today is Monday. We had actually a pretty good broiler chicken session yesterday. Went on blabbing away for a good couple hours. Hopefully felt like people got good value out of that experience, answering a bunch of market-related questions. Level 1 programmers, you can actually see them sort of evolving as we speak. They've gone through eating their vegetables. Theoretically, they have trading plans that they're working with now. Bit of a strategic vision, why the hell they're doing this to begin with. Maybe now tactical visions are starting to congeal. Are you a range trader? Are you a trend trader? Are you a fundamentalist? Are you a technician? What are your 3 unrelated reasons to justify actions? All that kind of fun stuff. Level 2ers, getting deep into the candy store. I think they're actually finishing up. They just studied commitments of traders reports and understanding the hedging industry within the futures markets. So very thick what they're doing, but very proud of them. And of course, level 3ers, we just went through our big whack of derivatives trading. Education, specifically with regard to options and warrants and rights and swaps and all that kind of fun stuff. Education programs just humming along. On Mondays, which it is here today, we actually have our CTO, Sjord, come on the call and talk to us a little bit about site development. And he was saying, we're very, very close to sort of the next generation or iteration, I guess it is, of the platform. We're just waiting for a couple updates that are coming down the pike this week. So super stoked about that. And actually, it was so cool. I couldn't believe this. It's interesting how the breadth indicator on the S&P 500 is flashing a little bit of a sell here. And we might even see, there is the S&P 500 broken down. We might even see, you can see internal breadth, the bullish percentage started to crap out in earnest actually last week. But this was so freaking cool when I saw this morning. I think I've told you guys and I've tweeted out recently, I worked with a technical analysis I don't know what you call it. It's just a one chart pattern, but you just see it so often and it's so compelling. All I can call it is the outside downside key reversal. I don't even know what the actual real name is. That's the name that we sort of came up with it way back when. But that was this signal here. This happened to be off the Canadian bank. So I've talked to you guys at length. The Canadian real estate market to me is an absolute fucking joke. It's ridiculous what's going on here. But, they always say markets can remain illogical far longer than anybody can remain solvent. And, what you saw with crypto and the way that they were running the market up there through the spring of this year and Mr. fucking Allen Banana Head there and his terrible, terrible actions within the cryptocurrency space and that Dogecoin last spring. Why did that happen? Again, I would make the argument that the whole damn reason it happened is because it was on Wall Street's agenda. They had to get the market bid up and as frothy as possible for this Coinbase IPO. And they did it. They pulled it off. It was beautiful. It was brilliant. And they got away with it. It's sort of like I put out a snarky tweet yesterday where there's a huge faction of the United States of America right now that's very thankful to Mr. Powell. For being such a great leader and not overreacting in these times of crisis and stuff and being a fantastic steward of the economy. And I'm going, wait a minute. Why don't we spin it like, it turns out Mr. Powell is actually a lawyer, not a banker by trade. So was he hired maybe to spin a specific story the way lawyers can? Oh, gee whiz. The European Central Bank head is also a lawyer by trade. Trying to spin a certain message a certain way maybe and make sure that legal footing is covered with every word said? I wonder. And then if you actually look at the mechanics of the way that the money masters actually manipulate the money system, I think that they actually got away with like literally the crime of the century here. And nobody has said boo. And ironically enough, not only has nobody said boo through all of this, but we're actually thanking these cocksuckers for this raping. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So trust me, when I get sell signals on bank stocks, I am more than happy to short this fucking thing into the ground and jump up and down and cheer and hurrah at what a fucking killer signaling system we've built here at TRI. And look at that trade. The trade speaks for itself. Well done, Sjord. And of course, well done, Brian, for actually taking the damn trade. But I thought this was so cool. Sjord, of course, on the call, and he's built the engine. This is his baby. And look at what comes up on this screen. Our first thing we loaded it this morning. SPDR, Dow Jones Industrial Average ETF Trust. Outside, downside, fuck you, key reversal. Into the ground you go. That's perfect. I just showed you what happened on that TD. So, do we see a similar fate for the Dow Jones Industrial Average? It wouldn't surprise me. But DIA, that's the specific vehicle that the system told us to short. And look at this trade. This is insane. Outside downside key reversal confirms on a break of that low right there. That low is 346.34. And look how this market, it actually opened up. It went zooming up. It opened up below the signal. So the signal fired. It went zooming up to give you your fills. Ding, 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 ding. You got short. And then it's just collapsed here on the other side. Absolutely incredible. I mean, I'm just awe-inspired by this signaling system that Sjord has built. It's going to make us so fucking stinking rich. This is, if anything, it's a great analogy because I always tell the students about the story of the interactive brokers guy and how he had built these signaling systems and he trades chaos. And of course, we learned about chaos this past year. Thank you, Universe. Thank you, Jojo, for teaching us that. Super, super valuable information now. So he actually had to, Mr. Interactive Brokers, he had to actually create whole systems to get around the regulators for the various different types of orders he wanted to enter and how he would participate. But he is Dutch. And I think it's absolutely perfectly fitting that Sjord now has built this signaling system being Dutch, and Sjord's going to literally take over the damn world with this engine. It's just absolutely stunning. And, just a final sort of, not really touting, just sort of reiterating I think I had showed you guys a few months ago that even within the crypto space, I seem to remember what it's called, block or something like that. Even within the crypto space, these outside downside reversals, I mean, this shit is gold. So just to show you that, and it's the system that I learned a million years ago. There it is, but I could never find it on the interneting. I learned it a million years ago before the interneting even existed, and it was impossible to find these back then. At least now with the computers, it makes it a little easier. But even still, there aren't that many services online that can even do this. But, you tell me. And I had to repeat it again, whether it be TD Bank, whether it be this Amplify Transformational Data Sharing ETF. Theoretically, this is a blockchain ETF. Outside downside reversal, what happens following? And the question for everybody on the site today is it worth $50 a month to have this signal in your email? Would that signal, had you acted there in your crypto holdings, would that have saved you, what, $500, $600 a year for an annual subscription? Would that have saved you $500, $600 on that trade? Or, heaven forbid, you actually go and short these trades. Would you have made $500, $600 on that one trade? I can tell you, the option that I specifically talked about here, it's more than tripled since this signal fired. The options that I have doing very nicely, thank you very much. They're 2023 though, because I want to be short this thing for a long time here. Anyway, point of the matter here is that worth maybe $50 a month to have that kind of information in your email box on a daily basis? I think so, and I have a funny feeling we might even be like reinventing the wheel here to a certain degree, because like I said, you just don't find this information on the net, and we've got it, and we've got a lock on this shit. I'm just so proud of Seward. Way to go, Seward. You totally kicked ass. So, making lots of money from our trading. Unfortunately, these are bearish signals. That's not a good sign for the bulls. Going to be a bit of a tough slog here for the bulls. And, like I said, actually, I didn't say this, but what I think's happening here, and I've told you this before, is I do believe that the politicians are going to be encouraged to maybe throw a little bit more free money at the bankers' way. And it will be stuff like this. Keep in mind, the irony of all of this is the worst part about all of this, is that they're going to engineer a quote-unquote crash here. Right? You can see from top to bottom, they're going to call this a correction because they're going to say, well, the peak in price was there, and there's the 50% rule where we're going. My hunch is they're probably actually going to take this thing down to correction territory, 20% correction. Is this really a crash, though, or is this just, this silly stock market? Look how it's been bid up. I mean, just 50% rules take us down below 30,000. And really what I think is going to happen here, good old Ben from our Wednesday show will know this, is we call this a Wyckoff check, where all the market's going to do is actually check the original old highs here. So anyway, shape it. This is kind of a tough market state. And I don't think this market state changes until the politicians just start throwing free money at the market. And how panicky do they have to get the public to actually get that free money? Only time is going to tell, I suppose. And, they often say that the Canadian banks lead the market. So the fact that this big Canadian bank is just completely collapsing here leads me to believe that the stock market's probably going lower for a bit here. Anyway, interesting market state. The only issue with that, of course, is we're not going to be selling much halves on doubles. Like everything is red as fucking sin here. So, enjoy the correction while it lasts. People are asking, what are you doing in crypto and stuff? And, the irony of it all is there's Mountain Man on Bitcoin. He's still quite a bit lower than where we are now. And things like Bear ABCDs on Bitcoin, believe it or not, you're going to hate me for saying this, but I don't see any reason why we can't go back down to $12,000. And I like that as a cost of production level for the next halvening event. That would make sense to me. The issue here, though, is I don't think that this is going to be long-lasting. I think it's going to be one of these sort of, maybe we kind of go like this, but I think it's going to be like a zing, zing kind of thing. So I do like the idea of just throwing yourself, what we say, reload zones, nanny nibbles, little old lady, risk management strategies. I don't have a problem with you. Once we get down into green boxes, throw yourself on a dollar cost averaging plan. But we're not in the green box yet. So unfortunately, with something like Bitcoin, I can't even really buy it yet. Altcoins, they're doing their thing, but you can see the same sort of bear ABCDs. Boom, 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 boom. Got even bigger ones here. Boom, 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 boom. You can see, this is a replication of this range. So if we did that as a bought target, flip that around. Entry off of the M. Move stop to scratch. Move stop to trailings down basically at the 78.6 where I like to be a buyer. And your ultimate objective is basically just taking this entire bull market right back. Considering this shit coins, considering that technically there is no value to any of this stuff, they can do whatever the hell they want. POW coins, at least you can figure out some sort of value for the individual units. But unless there's sort of like an internal sort of pumping mechanism, you got to buy, you got to buy, you got to buy, you got to buy. There is no value to any of these things. So be aware of that with regard to POS stories. And as long as we keep making lower highs and lower lows, I don't see any hurry here. Probably a really good example of this. I was talking to people through Litecoin. I actually was thinking about, taking a shot on the long side over here. Then we topped out and I just walked away. The money's sitting in cash and I've just been sort of like, well, I'll wait for this to play itself out, start showing me some W's here, and then I'll go take another shot. And you can see we just keep making lower highs and lower lows. There's that bought short level. There's the move stop to scratch level like you saw on the shitcoin index. Move stop to trailing is just simply a test of this megaphone trend line. And then the ultimate objective is what I think's going on here is they're just going to do a test of this actually pretty significant downtrend line. So you can see we're probably going to come back down against here, put in some sort of floor. And if we're still a bull, we're going to turn back up here. But that's a big assumption. No way of knowing what the hell's going to happen here. All I'll say is, really good analogy. Do we take a trend line break trade there? No. Wait for the W on the other side. And look, the son of a bitch went and M'd out. Boo. Down we go. Same thing here. Do we take this trend line break trade? No. Wait for a W on the other side. And oh crap, look how we just puked out there. So you don't know what the hell's going to happen here. Keep telling people, don't get into the habit or even the business of predicting the future. It's impossible to predict. Just simply say, look, we've broken this trend line. If we can come and W out on top of this trend line, then fucking away we go. But until that happens, there just ain't nothing to do. And if anything, what sucks is you can see we have this uptrend line. Big old M comes in on the other side of the trend line. That's a sell signal, and you can see the bot setup working away, doing its thing. So that's the kind of market we're in. It's tough to make the really bullish case right now, folks. It sucks, but it is what it is. So not really selling anything today at a profit. Just sort of twiddling my thumbs. It's the middle of the summer. We often usually call this the summer doldrums. If anything, it's good to finally see this stupid crude oil market because there was no justification for crude oil prices to be like this. None whatsoever in my eyes. The only reason why I was up here was because they could do this. So whoever it was that pumped this thing up, great, wonderful, way to go. You did it. Now, hopefully, calmer heads will prevail and this stupid energy price will calm back down. Because half of the reason why crude was as expensive as it is, it's supply and demand. Well, if the economy is so weak and everything's shut down, why are you seeing these prices up? It's not like there's a huge new demand. Is it less supply? Well, I would actually argue there's even more supply floating out there. Keep in mind, things like the tar sands in Canada, they just keep spitting this crude out. People like Saudi Arabia, the oil just keeps spitting out of the ground. People like Russia, oil just, they need the oil. As soon as the oil comes out of the ground, bam, it hits the market. They need that money ASAP. So what the fuck is going on here? Something just does not smell right about this whole market, folks. Very, very suspicious. So with that said, I wouldn't be surprised if after all of the dust settles, you actually find that this crude oil market has come right back down to earth. Things like good old 50% rules, this should happen. So we should see at some point things like $45 a barrel. I might make the argument that crude really shouldn't be a buy until we start getting back into reload zones, which is probably going to be nothing more than a test of this trend line here. And maybe we can do something like that, and away we go. So, long overdue. And if anything, we were kind of worrying recently, hey, this oil price, it's actually having an effect. This is Dow Theory. If the transports in yellow do not go to new highs, but the industrials in teal do go to new highs, that is a major, major sell signal. And sure enough, and I've walked you guys through this. Everybody on YouTube should have seen this coming 100 miles away because I've walked you guys through this. And also, Kevin actually did up a blog post specifically on this about a month ago. So you can't even say that, oh, no, this was a total mystery. Nobody knew about that. Fuck you. This was as plain as day. It's just the problem is when people are all fucking circle jerking bullish, they don't want to hear these type of messages. And that's why most people lose money in the market is they just won't acknowledge reality. So acknowledge reality. Damn it. Anyway, good to see this is finally cleaning up. And then, as I said, just to sort of finish this off, I do not believe that the economy and everything is about to collapse. What I think is going on here is the banksters, the Jay Powells of the world, the grandmas, when they're selling, you should be yelling. Those kind of people, I think that they're finessing this market to get the politicians to give them a whole bunch of more free money. The irony of it all is that if the politicians don't cooperate, we're going to see more selling. And like I said, the banks themselves are actually the ones that will be doing the selling. And if they have to sell their own stock to force these indexes down, they will. So, writing's on the walls. Be careful with your hard-earned money, people. Go slowly. This is a very, very difficult time in the market. The most difficult, I would say, in my entire, 35-year career, because everything is in flux right now. There is no established trends. There's a lot of power plays going on with things like the banksters and the politicians. I would make the argument that the amount of volatility that's been injected into this market means that what the hell is actual fundamental value? Can they do things like cause assets to fall like 50% in value, which of course is going to make everybody in the newspaper all freaking out, and the public and the TV stations, these uninformed people, they're going to see 50% drop. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. When really all it is just a healthy cleanup. You can see the gaps here. These gaps need to be filled in. They just do. Somebody go and Google how often do gaps get filled in. It's a pretty damn high number. So ironically enough, the market's actually even right now telling you, well, at some point we are coming back to here. So, and ironically enough, with the amount of gaps that are happening to the downside, you can make the same argument just like this, that at some point they're going to bring the market back up and fill in all of these gaps too on the upside. This is just the way this silly game goes. So you can either learn from this, prepare for this, subscribe to fucking killer sites that give you insane trade ideas and take advantage of this, or you can bury your head in the sand and be uneducated and get played by the Joey Diamonds of the world. It's up to you. I will say that trading this kind of stuff, being totally counterintuitive, going with what the charts are saying, and ironically enough, things like broader market measures and stuff like the VIX index was at the bottom end of the range, so you should have been buying puts on that anyway. I guess calls, but puts on stocks, that kind of stuff. It's not easy. You can't do this just off the cuff. You can't. Even if you subscribe to this service and we gave you the signals in the mail, if we did that to 100 people, I can guarantee you no two people would have the exact same balance. Why? Because everybody acts through their own sort of little kaleidoscope. So how do you act? And that's all about having a plan. So the great part about TRI, number one, I mean, you got this old man who, for some fucking weird reason, is just hell bent on making some sort of positive difference in this world. Try and right the ship. You know, why isn't Joey Diamond fucking doing these as public services? He knows this information. Why isn't he doing it? He's rich enough. He could buy 100 of me. Why isn't he doing this out of just part-time to try and help his fellow man? Why do I have to do this and make up for those assholes? So you've got that. Take advantage of that. And trust me, I mean, fuck, there's enough free content out there on the YouTube page and even on the site, 30-day trials. You can learn a lot just from listening to the old man for a few hours. Take advantage of this signaling system that is simply going to tell you time-tested signals that work. Now, nothing's guaranteed in this business. And actually, what you have to understand is that I expect every single trade that I do, I expect to be wrong 33% of the time. That's a big number. So how do I position myself to be able to participate and also have the full expectation that I'm going to be wrong and lose money 33% of the time? The answer is you have to plan. And we now have this beautiful education program. It's incredibly robust. It's very long. It covers almost everything under the sun in trading, including all of the different types of time frames and references to different type of market participants. Whether you be an investor or a swing trader or a day trader, we've got shit to cover your needs. And, you know, we frame the whole thing within that context of working within a plan to try and help you with anxiety about risking money in the marketplace. Tell you, Jojo, this shit, it's coming together, and it's a miracle. It's a fucking miracle. If we can pull this off, we should be able to seriously make a positive difference in this world. We can actually do it. Tell you, folks, the opportunity's here. It's just a question of whether you want to take advantage of it. So, all right, I think I'm going to leave the rant at that, everybody. Had a great conversation with the site people through the daily brief today. I'm so privileged and blessed to be working with all these professionals. Kevin here just does such a pro job day in, day out. How did I get so damn lucky with all these people? So thank you. Let's go out there and let's really try and affect a positive change in this world, but understand that you actually have to go through periods like this to set up the next bull. So just be patient. You know, there's no reason why you just can't sit on cash and wait for all this to settle down. And then, you know, when the bullish key reversals start firing, we can get back in on the long side and make tons of money, banging out doubles and all that kind of fun stuff. Okay, everybody, sure hope you enjoyed that. Kind of a different rant today. You know, markets are kind of haywire right now, so it's not really like I even really want you doing a hell of a lot through this. If anything, it's in everybody's best interest just to let the damn, banksters and the politicians do their dance, get it over with, put in a bottom in the market, and then we can go back to making money from trading on the long side. So go slowly. Let's just let them do their thing. And then, of course, when we're back in the groove, you'll hear from Brian banging out doubles, and away we go. W's, bullish divergences, trade location, blah, 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 blah. In the interim, get your plan together, get your act together, get your capital together, get your head on straight. And when the market's ready to rock and roll, you're in a position of strength. Don't get caught. Don't waste this time, right? Take advantage of this time. And get your shit together. Don't take too much risk. Try and spread the jelly out. And, of course, don't take no wooden nickels. Remember what your number one job is. You want to make damn sure you can come back and play the game again tomorrow. So have yourselves a great day. Kevin, if you could take us on out of here, I think I'm done my rant. PMA for the win. All the best, and bye for now.